Hi guys, so today we will learn about decorators in LWC. So decorators are special annotations that make properties reactive and accessible across components. So there are three main decorators. First is track. So track make properties reactive. That means whenever data is changes, UI updates according to that data. Okay. And it is used for private properties. Okay, properties means uh, the properties which will be used only within the same LWC component. Okay, now API decorator. Now API decorator exposes your properties or a method to the parent component so that parent component can you know access that property or a method. Okay, and it is used for public properties and method. Okay, so that means, for example, let's say parent component has a message variable. So parent component want to send value. So what we will do, we have to either a method where parent component can send the value, or we should have a variable, public variable, which parent component should have access so that parent component can assign value to that variable. Okay, so basically using API we can expose our properties and methods so that parent component can access. Now third is wire. Wire is basically to connect LWC component with Salesforce data. Okay, with Salesforce data using Apex or LDS. Okay, and it's used for reactive data fetching. Okay, reactive data fetching means whenever data is fetched, it will display on UI. Okay, now I will show you through code how we can use track. Okay. So what we can do is we can use the we can create a new LWC component. Okay, or to understand that track, or what we can do is we can use this as well. Okay, so here we don't need track. And one more thing guys, for the primitive data type we don't need track. They are by default reactive. That means whenever I am changing the value in the track variable, whenever I am changing value in this variable counter, it will automatically reflect on the UI. But track is needed in case we are using object or array, because their values are not reflected by default to the UI. Okay, for example, using the same app. Okay, let's say we want to create we are creating a button, and we want to change based on this button, we are changing some value in the array. Okay, so that array if you want to display on UI, we need to use that as a track. Okay, but first I will show you that what will happen if I don't use track. Then I will use the track to reflect that value on the UI. Okay. So let's say first I will display obj on the layout. Let's say D. I will use expression that says emp dot name and emp dot program. Okay, so and this is the variable we have in the backend is emp and its name Sandy and roll number Kumar. Sandy Kumar, name is capital. So it's by without track. Okay. Now using, let me close this. I am creating a handler, or what I can do is change emp. So this is the handler. I will change value when this handler is clicked. Sandy Kumar to Sandy Test. Okay. I am changing value from Sandy Kumar to Sandy Test. Okay. After reloading, you will see a button here. Okay, this is for emp change. So I will click on this. You see, it's Sandy Kumar. Nothing is changed. Okay, guys. So just a minute. Let me remove this because it's not needed now. Then remove this. Okay. This button, this plus instead of plus, I will name it as change emp. So guys, nothing is changed. Now I will use track. If I use track should be imported from So after using track, this value will reflect when I will click on the button. Change oh sorry, it will be this dot emp. So we have to use this to access variable which we declare here with or without track or whatever the variable we declare inside LWC class, we need to use this keyword. You see, when I click on this, so value is reflected. Now if I remove track, let's see what will happen if we remove track. Value is reflected. I remove track and save. Okay, guys, what we can do is we can try this instead of this. If we are just changing properties, okay, instead of entire obj, because entire obj will reflect, but if just we make some modification in a property, so we will check if property is reflected or not. Maybe property will not reflect, but there is some, but means if you don't use track, so this will not reflect. Maybe it's because of the latest version that it's reflecting, but it should not reflect. Let's check again. I will reload this. You see, the value which we have changed is not reflected. Got it? So this is the case where we need to use track. Now I will use track to see whether value will reflect. I will save it. Now I will reload and check again. You see, it's reflected. Okay, that means if I change properties, okay, of a object or a array, our change will not be reflecting on the UI. That means it will not be reactive. Okay, and to make that reactive, we have to use this track keyword and track annotation. It's an annotation. Okay. Okay, guys, I think it's enough for the video because it video has been too long. And in the next session, we will learn about API and wire decorators. Okay, so these are annotations. We call it decorator as well. Okay. So, okay, guys, hope for the best. Hope for the best. And if you really like my video, please subscribe and like. Okay. Thank you. Meet you in next session.